Welcome to part 8 of our series Math from the Ground Up. Today we're going to learn about odd and even numbers. What defines an even and odd number is that even numbers are divisible by 2 and odd numbers are not divisible by 2. Let's learn about some rules that can help us solve some questions later on. If you add or subtract an even number and an even number, would that give you an even number or an odd number? Well, if you don't know right away, you can just pick some even numbers and then try it out. So let's say we picked 2 and 4. Well, 2 plus 4 gives us 6, which is divisible by 2. It's an even number. So what about even plus or minus odd numbers? Again, let's pick some numbers like 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. It's an odd number. If you remember from the first lesson, order of addition doesn't change anything, but let's pick different numbers like 5 minus 8. It would give us -3, which is an odd number. Odd plus or minus odd, again, 3 plus 3 would give you 6. It's an even number. Or you can pick 5 plus 5, like you want to keep trying to make sure that it is true. 5 plus 5 is 10. It's also an even number. And now we got to multiplication. Even times even. So 2 times 2 is 4. It would give us an even number. Even times odd. 2 times 3 would give us 6. It's an even number. Let's try some different numbers. 5 and let's try 0, because 0 also is an even number, because you can divide 0 by 2, which would give you 0. So 5 times 0 is 0. It's also an even number. Let's do odd times odd. So 5 times 5 would give you 25, which is an odd number. 3 times 5 would give you 15. 7 times, I can keep going like this. You get the gist. It's an odd number. So as you can see, whenever you have an even number, when you're multiplying, the answer is always even. It's only odd when you multiply when you get two odd numbers. There you go. Knowing these can help you solve some questions, but these are really easy and you can always just plug numbers to see it yourself. Okay, so I wrote down a question and let's solve it together. If a is an odd number, of the following which results in an odd number? So we know that a is an odd number. You can just write that. And you can pick a number for it. So let's pick 1 to make our lives easier, right? Let's assume that a is 1. Now let's start from the left and keep trying. So a minus 3. We said 1 minus 3 is -2, which is an even number, so that's not one of the options that we're going to pick. Let's do the second one. A plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 is a odd number, so this does result in an odd number right here. Let's do 2 times a. If you remember what I said, if you multiply anything by an even number, the result is an even number, but we can just put that in. We can just also plug in 1. 2 times 1 is 2. The answer is also even, so that's not one of our options. And let's do the last one. 7. Let's plug in 1 for a. 7 times 1 minus 3 equals to 4, which is an even number. And so the only right answer is a plus 4. Okay, let's now solve a question that could possibly come up on a test or something like SAT. What is the sum of the largest even natural number with 3 different digits and largest odd number with 2 different digits? Natural numbers, you can also call it the counting numbers, are the numbers that you use to count things. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes to infinity. So the question is asking for 3 different digits. So let's just do that. Let's just write these 3 digits for the first number that we're looking for, and we want it to be a even and the largest number. So largest 3-digit number would be 999, right? 999. But if we wanted a largest even number, that would be 998. But we have two nines here. The question is asking 3 different digits. So if we want to do that, it would be 9, 8, and we can't do 8, we can do 6, right? This is the largest even number that has 3 different digits. So let's look for the second number. The second number is largest odd number with 2 different digits. Largest odd number would be 99, but we're looking for 2 different digits, so it would be 97. And what's the sum? Let's add them up. 6 plus 7 is 13. We have 1 remainder. 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 1 is 18. And we have 1 again. And 9 plus 1 is 10. So the answer is 1083. And lastly, let's mention this rule that let n be a positive integer, and if we take the power of an odd number, what would the answer be? And if we take the power of an even number, what would the answer be? You can just plug in numbers, like easy numbers, 2 to the 2 or 2 to the 3. So we have an even number here with any positive integer. It doesn't matter if it's even or odd. The answer here is 4 and the answer here is 8. So you get an even number. And for odd number, we have 3 to the 1 or 3 to the 2. It doesn't matter, the answer is 3, the answer is 9. So you always get an odd number, because if you remember, taking a power is basically multiplying it like multiple times. So if you're multiplying even number and even number or any number, the answer is even. Here you're multiplying odd numbers and the answer will be an odd number. And lastly, I want to mention if we get numbers that are not integers. Is 1 over 2 a even number or odd number? 8 over 3, when you divide 8 over 3, you don't get an integer, right? Both 1 over 2 and 8 over 3 actually they're not odd or even. The concept of odd or even only works for integers. And so 1 over 2 or 8 over 3, they're not odd or even because both 8 over 3 and 1 over 2 are not part of the integer set. So the concept doesn't work for them.